me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Richard Moore, USAGSA. This is the moment that many people have been waiting for. And so hold on to your seats. I'm going to keep it as clear and brief as possible, as it involves the wrongful conviction of YouTuber Rebecca Baumgartner, who was wrongfully convicted of a manufactured crime that she had no part in. And this was a set-up job from the start by Lowndes County Sheriff's Department and their gonorrhea sting unit. This couldn't have been made possible without the complicity of several people involved in her case. We're going to talk about that. This includes the judge, the prosecutor, the assistant prosecutor, and Rebecca's own legal team. I'm going to connect the dots for you. Before I jump into it, if you're not already subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe and to share our content and share it relentlessly. The little bell that you see there, if you click that, that's the notification icon for you'll get notified just as soon as I upload new content, so you won't miss out. You can get it quick. I have to mention, as I always do, I want to extend my thanks and gratitude to my supporters and my loyal viewers, followers, and even my subscribers on Substack and WordPress, etc. And my supporters that, with their donations, make what we do possible. Our mission is very clear: expose abject corruption across this nation. And this includes federal programs, especially the COPS program and the National Sheriff's Association Neighborhood Watch, and Homeland Security fusion centers, and the FBI, and all these other people that are involved in these diabolical, unconstitutional, I might add, programs that are destroying the lives of millions of Americans in plain sight. We expose this. Also, we give voice to the victims, many of which believe they have no voice. Many are no longer with us. They never got their day in court. They never saw vindication. And they gave up. Some were extinguished, snuffed out. And so when I bring you content, I'm not bringing you a hypothesis, nor am I bringing you any type of lame conspiracy or conjecture. I'm bringing you the pure, 100% unadulterated truth. And a lot of people have a problem. They don't have the constitutional fortitude to handle the truth. But that's what we're serving here. In the description of this video, you'll see our link tree. And that link tree give you the link to my blogs and some of the other platforms and ways you can contact me. And most importantly, ways you can support USAGSA. Your donations are essential. And many people that have benefited from my content and the things that we've done here, and the information and finite details about this program, how it works, who's behind it, and everything. I believe that others are picking up the slack for them when they could easily click that button. You could click the super thanks there at the bottom, the heart-shaped thing, and immediately do your part and take a stand with USAGSA. Also, I encourage you to become a patron at Patreon. That link is in there as well. This gives you a direct line of communication with myself and gives you a firsthand look at everything. It all goes there before it goes anywhere else. And you can, there's membership levels, support levels. Many people are in there as free, and that's fine. But folks, we know that nothing's free, and it comes at a very high price. And what I mean by that, I mean by yours truly is the direct target of the very people that I expose. I stand firm. I'm not backing down. I'm not backing up. Not going to shut up. Not going to roll up in the fetal position and whimper. I'm not built like that. They've tried to take me out many times, and they failed. I'm here because God sees fit that I'm here, and I'll be here until God sees fit that I'm somewhere else. And folks, that is the bottom line. So be sure and check out that link tree. So for those that are not familiar with Rebecca's story, I have a playlist of Rebecca Bumgardner. I also have a Lowndes County, Mississippi playlist. You can view both of those. Also, her channel is Lowndes County Accountability. I'll have that link in there. Mississippi Queen Audits. And her sister April has posted a great deal of discovery, and she has posted for public view the things that I'm going to talk about. It's right there. So this is not a he said, she said deal. This is the way it is. So in 2022, Rebecca is arrested and charged with 3 counts of sales of methamphetamines, all based on a snitch, a paid snitch working for Lowndes County Sheriff's Department, the gonorrhea sting unit. And she claims that she sold dope to another snitch, also working for the gonorrhea sting unit. So, snitch 1 testifies in court that she sold the dope because Rebecca told her to. And boys and girls, that was the state's case. They had no dope, they had no recordings. All they had was the snitch selling dope to the other snitch, and the snitch that bought the dope saying, I bought the dope. I hope y'all are picking up what I'm laying down here. That's the deal. It's a 4-day trial. I just gave you the trial, okay? Rebecca and her legal or attorney, Amanda Meadows, a court-appointed attorney, that's how it began. Until a friend of Rebecca, her landlord, Sherman Vaughn, 87-year-old Sherman, he's 87 now, Sherman Vaughn, was added in as a witness because Deanna Gaddis, the rat, was also a tenant in this trailer park that Rebecca lived in. And he had a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to say about the snitch. Had he been able to say what he was brought in to say, there's not a jury, even in North Korea, that would have convicted her. His testimony would have been impugnable. No priors. He, a citizen of Lowndes County, Columbus, Mississippi, and they just couldn't do anything with that. They couldn't discredit him. They couldn't write him off as crazy, feeble-minded, or anything else. So what did they do? Sherman has been and still is a staunch supporter of Rebecca. And he, along with thousands of other people, are 100% convinced that Rebecca Bumgardner was absolutely framed, and this was a con job, a setup job from the onset. Miscarriage of justice that's an understatement, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that the system somehow, this best system in the world somehow, with its imperfections, is the best, but it is imperfect. No. The system works. We've had a couple hundred years to hone that deal. The system works. But the program that circumvents the system and the bandwagon that these criminals with badges and these criminals in positions of trust have absolutely exploited it. And they're getting away with it. They may still keep getting away with it, but they won't be getting away with it without me talking about it and putting their business on Front Street. I'm not the only one doing it, but I'm going to keep doing it. So that's the plan. They're going to bring Mr. Vaughn in. And Mr. Vaughn, wanting to do all he could do to help Rebecca, dials up one of the most prominent attorneys in the state of Mississippi. And that comes at a very big price tag. And that's none other than Jim Wade in Tupelo, Mississippi, 75 miles north. And he got Jim Wade on the phone and asked him, he told him whatever he could tell him about the deal and asked him, would he consider representing Rebecca pro bono? And believe it or not, Jim Wade agreed to do it. I don't know how long it took him to agree to do it. I think he agreed to do it on that phone call. So far, so good, right? Okay. Everything is not what you think it is, ladies and gentlemen. Believe that. Now, I'm going to start connecting these dots for you, and I'm going to bring in the star of the show, the latest shenanigan that this whole team, her attorneys, he's got basically two attorneys now, Amanda Meadows and Jim Wade. On the prosecution side, you have the district attorney, Scott Colom, and assistant DA, Benjamin Rush, Jr. That's the makeup. And then you have Michelle Easterlin, I think she's out of Starkville, as the judge. The jury was picked in this case May the 23rd, this 2022. Now, Deanna Gaddis on the stand, that you can see the interrogation videos. There's two of them. One, Deanna Gaddis is crying, slinging snot and everything else. I won't do it again. I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And you can see Jeff Evans in there working up to a foam and froth hearing that, because when they start talking like that, it's time to get on the hood of his truck. But they were in an interrogation room. That's the only thing that kept that out of the equation. And I'm not talking about against the hood of the truck. I'm talking up on the hood of the truck. Okay? We'll talk about that some other time. We already talked, but we'll talk about it again. And that's the deal. We needed the money. We were desperate, blah, blah, blah. The second interrogation, she's not slinging snot. And Edmondson is not worked up in a foam and froth. She contradicts what she said in the first one. They did it because, not because they need money, they had money. They were doing okay. Well, I'm amazed if they're doing okay, like she said, they'd been paying their damn rent, would be months and months behind. I don't know how okay, what okay meant, but doing okay. So is it that they were desperate for money, or they didn't do it for the money? They did it because they were pressured to do it by Rebecca. Which is it? And folks, I'm not an attorney. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Okay, this is already entered into discovery. This is evidence. One would assume that before they put Deanna on the stand, or some point in there, her attorneys, we're assuming that Rush and Colom, they put snippets, out of context, pieces of this on as evidence. They didn't put it all in its full content. So where was Rebecca's attorneys during this deal? That's hold the phone right there. Hold the horses. No. No. Because they're going to bring up what I just brought up. I'm not an attorney. It's that simple, folks. Oh, we're going to play the whole deal. We're not going to play any of it. You're not take. That dog ain't going to hunt. Okay, that didn't happen. On the stand, she gave her testimony on the 24th. The 23rd, the day before, Donna Gaddis approached Mr. Vaughn in the hallways of the courthouse. The day before she gave her false testimony. She said, and I quote, was getting her kids back. They took her kids because her and her old man were getting high and doing God only knows what, obviously, slinging dope, snitching for the police, and everything else. Now, CPS, Child Protective Service, they don't give a rat's ass about any of that. That's the biggest sham that we've got going in the United States. It's Child Protective Services. Annually, they lose 300,000 kids. Now, yes, unaccounted for where they are, they can't explain it. And Mississippi is part of that equation. So I can't get past that. So anything else that you might say what CPS is good for, I don't want to hear that. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The 300,000 that y'all, obviously, I don't hear anything else. Nothing. But that's the deal. Now, she's getting her kids back. So CPS, they're playing along with this deal and leveraging the sniveling rats, children, to make sure that she keeps that scripted narrative on the stand. Okay? Because on the stand, she was asked, were you promised anything, blah, 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 in exchange for your testimony? No. As we know, results are in, and that's a damn lie. Okay? And every other thing that came out of her mouth was a damn lie. Who knew it? Rebecca's attorneys knew it. Did they object? No. Now, they're doing this dog and pony show for the whole world that may be looking in. It appears that all the stops were pulled. She had a high-dollar attorney, had 2 attorneys, 4 days, and all the T's were crossed and the I's dotted. And I'm going to tell you, folks, there ain't no T or I in bullshit. That's what they had. Unless they spelling it different. And then this same hallway exchange, Benjamin Rush, assistant, and Scott Colom approached Sherman Vaughn in the hallway, and Benjamin Rush Jr. asked Sherman Vaughn this: if Rebecca wins in court, do you think she's still going to sue? To which Sherman Vaughn replied, you damn right she is. Okay. On the 25th, I believe this is the last day of the trial, before Sherman Vaughn gave his testimony, or before he was put on the stand, Mr. Vaughn was asked 3 questions. It had nothing to do with anything. Maybe his name, what time is it, and is it hot enough for you out there? That's about it. Michelle Easterling, the judge, goes along with the prosecution and gets him off the stand. They wouldn't allow him to say anything. We don't hear nothing you got to say. I'm assuming that Rebecca's attorneys were still in the courtroom when this was going on. They didn't have anything to say about that either. This was on May the 25th. It was after lunch when he got on the stand. Prior to lunch, during lunch, Jim Wade, one of Rebecca's attorneys, Scott Colom and Benjamin Rush all go to lunch together. And where is Amanda Meadows? Well, there's can't be too much, folks. Too much up. Too many different ways you can slice this deal. And I'm going to tell you how I'm slicing it. And this way, I believe it's going to slice up and present on this smorgasbord of corruption that we're exposing. By Meadows falling back, this would dispel any hint of impropriety that they went to lunch solely to discuss the case or to discuss the case at all. They're just talking shop, golf, gonorrhea, or whatever. But it wasn't about Rebecca. Had it been a meeting about Rebecca, well, certainly Amanda Meadows would have been with them. But since she wasn't with them, then it was pleasure, not business. That's how I'm slicing it. So Meadows would appear as if she wasn't complicit in any of this and had nothing to do with Rebecca, and she remained oblivious. She was complicit. She wasn't oblivious. This was a planned strategy. Also, after this lunch meeting, this is D-Day, folks. Jim Wade approaches Rebecca Baumgartner. I wasn't aware of this, ladies and gentlemen, until less than a week ago. And I talked to Rebecca a lot, and I may look over at all this stuff. I've been neck deep in this. But I heard for the first time this. Jim Wade approached Rebecca. He said, we are tossing this around, and they're entertaining the possibility of reducing the charges to a misdemeanor if you plea out. What's that tell us? They did talk about Rebecca at lunch. It was about Rebecca at lunch. What did Rebecca say? She said, not no, but hell no. I'm not pleading anything. I'm innocent. I did nothing wrong. This is a sham. They can kiss my ass. Absolutely not. Period. That was relayed to the prosecution. You see, ladies and gentlemen, they knew they had no case. Either they get Rebecca's legal team on the program, or if they can't get them on the program, then they're going to have to either drop charges. The next thing would have been if Jim Wade would have had honored his oath and done what he was supposed to do, Rebecca would be in prison right now. Okay? They were absolutely concerned about Rebecca suing them. Now, if as they enjoy their judicial immunity and law enforcement their qualified immunity, they shouldn't be worried about a lawsuit. They get sued all the time. Law enforcement does. And they enjoy a lot of latitude, folks. But I will tell you, when felonies are committed by the prosecution and law enforcement to create a case, the qualified immunity is out the door. They know it. So this was their decision. We can reduce it down and all that. Just drop it. She's still going to. She's a loud message on YouTube, and that's we need her out of the way. We cannot mitigate this wildfire. And Jim, you know how it is. We you give and get here, and I think for the betterment of the homeland and the cause and everything else, because you're trying cases in the 16th Judicial Circuit. I think we know she was doing all this, blah, 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 blah. We just haven't been able to prove it. But believe me, we know. So who knows what they talked about? Who knows what they showed him that would have absolutely violated Rebecca's Fourth Amendment rights. But they had that. And they closed the deal. Or we can go to plan B, Mr. Wade. And Wade has assured them that Amanda uh, is going to go and co-sign with whatever they do. She's leaving it up to them. You know, God forbid she make them mad. She's taking court-appointed cases. I don't see a career going forward in any shape, form, or fashion if she pisses the district attorney's office off and an elite attorney. That's just not going to look good for her. She goes along with it, knowing that what she is doing is a violation and a crime in every imaginable, conceivable way, folks. But she's not worried about any ramifications or repercussions from this deal because the powers that be had patted on the back and say it's going to be okay. She's going to be in the penitentiary, probably die in the penitentiary, and we got her off there, off the streets, and no more will we have to worry about what somebody on YouTube is going to say about our corruption. Now, plan B was for Jim Wade, matters for her to do nothing, sit there and drool. As we're going to shut Vaughn down, can't let him talk. We'll get the old man off stage. You've done good so far. You hadn't disrupted anything the snitch testimony gave, which you could have easily. And that, without her, they had no case. They had nothing else now. But this podunk jury bought this crap, folks. I mean, really? People say you can't blame the jury. They just bullshit. You're talking about can't blame them. I mean, if you're deaf, dumb, and blind moron, you should be in that box anyway. But there's enough of them. That's the kind of people that put people like Scott Colom and Eddie Hawkins in office, okay? So there you have it. So we let these things stand. We've charged her on the habitual offender, which means she gets the whole deal. No probation, no parole. It's day for day. And these three charges will run not concurrent together, but consecutive. Stack them, one on top of the other. Grand total, 24 mandatory years. She's been in there for 2 years. That deal was made. This could not have happened without the complicity and cooperation of Amanda Meadows, Jim Wade, Benjamin Rush, Scott Colom, and Michelle Easterling. Period. I've simply, ladies and gentlemen, given you the highlights. They were concerned about Rebecca suing them. They approached the old man about that. And when he confirmed that she was, the old man didn't get to say but 3 words when they put him on the stand. All right, you're out of the deal because the old man wouldn't go along with it. What do what you see how the deal works, folks? Now, so last month, April Metcalf, Rebecca Baumgartner's sister, that's been maintaining Rebecca's channel and putting on the things from the trial, transcripts and the videos and so forth. And she's done. It's a really a quagmire, folks, of a lot of information. I'm telling you, and I feel for her having to go through this. But as she goes through this and she shares things with me, and I've got all of it too. It's absolutely disgusting. So about a month ago, this fake private investigator, Rise Otay Wilson, he reaches out to April, and April has the recorded phone conversations, all of them, with Otay. And he approached her and said that he wanted to help Rebecca. This is last month, and that Judge Judge Hamilton I believe it is. Yeah. From Columbia, Tennessee, told E-Rise, and I don't know, E-Rise claims that he has got 2 years of schooling at Cumberland University in Nashville. And his judge was one of his professors, something like that. But he contacted E-Rise. He somehow knew something about the case, and et cetera, et cetera. That's the story E-Rise said. We got that on recording. What E-Rise failed to mention is that they was contacting each other through a Ouija board because Hamilton had been dead for over 2 years. So he didn't mention the part about being a clairvoyant or using a Ouija board. I don't know which one Otay used. I'm not saying he did communicate with Hamilton, but he's either clairvoyant or used a Ouija board. Or, I'm going to stretch it here, or he's a damn liar. Okay. Now, that goes along with what I said about CPS and 300,000 children. All right. What starts out wrong, ladies and gentlemen, usually ends up wrong. Okay. He goes on and on talking about some of the people involved in Rebecca's case, like Lance Lucky, that's fired because of chasing whores, dope, and couldn't quit saying nigger around the shop. And I don't know why Hawkins had a problem with that, because you got he wasn't doing anything that the rest of them wasn't doing. E-Rise said he brought it up, and every time he tried to say Lucky, he said Luckett, K-E-T-T, and on and on and on. That's why I realized that we had the real buckwheat in the picture here. So Otay tells April that Jim Wade contacted him to see if he could help Rebecca. Yeah. Now, Otay, E-Rise, is putting himself off as a private investigator, a former federal agent. Sent her a picture of a wallet that had the FBI emblem on it. No credentials in it, that, and some other bull crap. All of it, to which is bullshit. April talked to the former chief of police in Columbus. He confirmed it was bullshit and he was a fraud. Okay. Now, so that's alarming. Jim Wade is Rebecca's attorney. I would think that if, why would Jim Wade didn't contact Rebecca and said, look, I'm thinking about contacting Buckwheat. I think Buckwheat can help you. Now, folks, nowhere in this country is what I'm saying making any damn sense, okay? But it happened. Now, so he's going through this whole dissertation about how he wants to help Rebecca. He said, I want to go down, you go with me, try and get April. And April, picked the damn car, you go down where? You got to be kidding me. And we'll see Rebecca and get her. He says, he did say, that sometimes when attorneys go lunch together, they talk about things. Hello. Then he said, I want to take an agreement down there. She was railroaded, that she would agree to plead to a misdemeanor if the felony charges were dropped or somehow done away with, if she would agree and be immediately released, but she'd have to go to some rehab deal over in Birmingham to that helps you and teaches you about being a better parent, et cetera, et cetera. Except, of course, April, Rebecca don't have any children. So I'm confused. Maybe they were going to lock Deanna Gaddis up and tell the truth and give Deanna's rugrats and let Rebecca raise them. Who in the hell knows? I can't make that make sense. But how did Buckwheat know anything about the lunch date? He wasn't at the trial. Nobody knew who Buckwheat was. Never heard of him. How do you know about the lunch date? That was mentioned a couple of times in interviews I did with Rebecca, maybe once. Never was it mentioned anything about this misdemeanor deal. So we know he didn't grab that out of thin air. We know the source. April contacts Jim Wade about E-Rise O.J. Wilson. And he says he communicates with her through emails. We've got those. Now, the story is, according to E-Rise O.J., all that recorded, that Jim Wade initially contacted him. According to Jim Wade and his printed emails, that O.J. Wilson contacted him first. Which is it? So, well, one of them's lying. No, both of them's lying. So, if Jim Wade's telling the truth and E-Rise contacted him first, then Jim Wade should have said, well, hold up. I can't discuss anything with you about this case. That's attorney-client privilege. Go down to the courthouse and get whatever the hell you want. It's public record and get what you want to know. Now, he could have said, I'll discuss this with Rebecca. If she wants me to talk to you or you won't talk to her, I've got to get her cleared first. No. Buckwheat says, recorded conversations, that he had several conversations with Jim Wade. Now, always had all these conversations, nobody. Rebecca, her sister, nobody know anything about that. I'll tell you who did know about it. I'll tell you who absolutely knew about it. The people that names keep popping up on these programs we're doing. Michelle Easterlin, Scott Colom, Benjamin Rush, and Crooked Eddie Hawkins, the sheriff. They knew about it. So, why E-Rise? Well, they had to get somebody in there that was down with the deal, that could follow along and convince April and Rebecca to become a chatty Cathy and get the real play. I don't believe they were really trying to offer her nothing. I believe what they were trying to do, this makes the most sense, as they get this mole in there and to get all he could about what exactly, what direction they were taking. That would be their Trojan horse and to Bumgardner's planned in motion lawsuit against them and everything exposing them. That was the deal. Now, so E-Rise had several conversations, according to him, with Jim Wade. Even said that Jim Wade was giving him gas money. And I don't dispute or deny, I don't doubt any of that. Don't doubt any of that. He's not doing it for free. Okay? Now, we've also been able to figure out that we got another player in this deal. Okay? It's real clear. And that is, let me get down here to him. That is, let me get it right here. Rick, step and fetch it. Don't go Mason. This local journalist or reporter wannabe in the Lowndes County greater metropolitan area. And those that have no clue about the Lowndes County metropolitan area and why you didn't know that there was actually a metropolitan area in Mississippi, the people in Mississippi didn't realize it either. Okay. And that's what Crooked Eddie Hawkins, that's one of his names, official names for his sting unit, is the Metropolitan Drug Task Force. Okay. Now, folks, I mean, the only thing that they've got going is they've got a Walmart Supercenter. Okay. If that makes them a metropolitan, then they're metropolitan area. Okay. So they got Rick, Step and Fetch It Mason here, and he had a deal on TV talking about nothing, and talking to other people about not one damn thing, but expose nothing. No, you gonna cross? Ooh, you talking about Uncle Tom? Uncle Tom roll over his grave because Step and Fetch It. Rick won't go Mason. Absolutely. I put a whole new meaning to Uncle Tom. But Stephen Fawcett recently, he's on Facebook, interviewed Scott Colom. Now, let me tell you, this is the guy that Joe Biden nominated for a federal bench in the Northern District federal court here in Mississippi. And George Soros doubled down on it. Now, folks, I didn't think that there was that many people in the 16th Judicial District that had actually said publicly when they voted for this clown that they have absolutely voted for this clown because this clown was nominated by Joe Biden. And these are godless pathetics, folks. Godless pathetics, period. Period. I wouldn't think we'd had that, but we got that right here in the Dirty South, folks. It's real. So he interviews, to my knowledge, he's never interviewed anybody white. And, you know, so be it. He's never advocated for anybody white. All right. He's trying to diversify. He also interviewed who else? Rise O.J. Wilson. He's been on the show. He claims, ladies and gentlemen, soon I'm going to do an interview with Crooked Eddie Hawkins. Now, that hadn't come to fruition yet, but that is absolutely, he's breaking the mold. He's breaking, ditching the format. This is recently, he made that, I'm going to interview Eddie Hawkins. What's happened new? Man, I've been interviewing these people. We had that TV deal he was talking to them, but not recently, okay? He also is in bed with the Packet. That's the birdcage liner, the tabloid down there in Columbus. That sole existence evolves around bad news. All this, who got arrested, what's he charged for, mugshot, and all that crap, and then there's long, drawn out BS talking points from Crooked Eddie and the gonorrhea sting unit. How they've investigated for so long, and blah, 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 blah. And we're taking a crack on crime and all this bull crap. As we know, folks, they're the ones inventing the crime and creating it. Gonorrhea Max no longer on the sting unit. That's why they call it the sting unit. Was giving these dope whore rats gonorrhea. Okay? That's fact. And he was involved with Lucky, and Hawkins got rid of him. If you think it gonorrhea Max and his STD and line and all this other stuff, that it'd be difficult for him to get a job. Well, believe it or not, Scott Colom hired him for the district attorney's office, and he now is an investigator for the 16th. Really, I can't make this shit up, folks. Okay? I wish I was making it up. So, Mason, Stephen Fawcett, is in the mix. He's in the mix. And he is the one that was instrumental in getting Buckwheat, O.J., E-Rise on the plan. And that's when Hawkins, Colom, Rush, Jim Wade, and I'm sure Michelle Eastland it was just simply a phone call, had a little get together with E-Rise. E-Rise said he had several conversations with Wade. He put it on Wade. God forbid, because he got the same friendly. He can't say he had several with Colom and all that, then that would be been up. So y'all figure it out. Now, April is initially, it sounds positive until she had a minute to let that buzz pass her, a few minutes, and she started looking in, and everything that Buckwheat was telling her was a damn lie. He was fake, the credentials fake, all that stuff. That's when she started reaching out to Wade, and finally he emailed and confirmed all of it. And so, also in that ordeal, She asked him, had he, because I'm the one being vocal about this, contacted me. He said that he had. And that was a damn lie. Buckwheat. And so when I started putting it out on blast and vowing to talk about this like I am right now, guess what Buckwheat does? He does what these rats do. Okay? And they only know one thing, and that's a snitching rat. This crash dummy rat. And when he gets put under the lamp on this deal, folks, and that will come, I wonder what this conglomerate legal team is going, how they going to mitigate the rat story. Called Delta Correctional Facility for Women, where Rebecca is housed, and got them on the phone and informed them that he was a former federal agent. All this same bullshit story. But the reason he called is they needed to be warned. This was urgent. Rebecca was communicating with a dangerous felon, Richard Moore, me. Oh, man. And he rise, you don't know how many different ways you're right about what you said. You just don't know what parts you're right about. But you hold that thought, Chief. And Rick, don't go step and fetch it, Mason. I'm on you. Scott Colom, we own it. Ben Rush, we own it. Crooked Eddie, we own it. Michelle Easterlin, we own it. We are absolutely on it. And that goes for Jeff Edmondson and Lance Luckett and the rest of you pathetic deplorables. We ain't talking about these rats that y'all ran in there. This deal is not over. It is not over. Absolutely not over. Got people just blowing me up. The ones I'm talking about. The good ones, though. It is absolutely the gig's up. So, folks, that's it. Now, before you jump off here, I'm going to give you a heads up here. Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, within the next 2 days, but we're gonna shoot for tomorrow. Many people that are watching this, they may want to let your friends and neighbors know what's coming. Some of you gonna want to have your popcorn and sit back, get ready for a good one. And some of you may want to go get you some extra Depends, especially if you're living anywhere near Itawamba County, Mississippi. You may need those Depends. I'm going to tell you. Because, folks, if I can't make it hit the fan on this next one, then it can't hit the fan. But it's going to hit the fan, okay? That's what you're going to see next. I appreciate you. Remember, subscribe, share, like. We need your support. Till next time, God bless you.
They call me a